Okay, it's recording. Uh, okay, we're starting. Hello and welcome to everyone today. Our guest is Alberto Rodriguez, an MMA fighter. What can you say in general about your achievements, Alberto, fighting style? How did everything start? How did you get into MMA?
How I got into MMA. Okay. Uh, so I grew up in the West Side of Chicago. I don't know if you know much about Chicago, but it's a very it's a very dangerous place to grow up, especially in the inner city. So I would uh, I would take the bus coming home from elementary school, and I would go through some pretty bad neighborhoods, and I always used to get in fights. I used to get beat up and stuff like that. And then my mom put me in taekwondo, and my uncle started to teach me how to box. So I was like 7 or 8 years old, and just that from there, I just my love for martial arts kind of took off, and I just kept training. I transitioned to wrestling in high school, jiu-jitsu after high school. I was always doing kind of stand up with like my old coaches from taekwondo and boxing. And then I eventually got into Valley Flow Striking Academy with Coach Mike Valle, who's trained everyone. He's trained a who's who of fighters and great people. So it just felt right, and it was awesome. And then it was just I just felt myself take off. And I never wanted to fight pro. It wasn't like a big aspiration of mine, but just being there surrounded by all the other great fighters, it just kind of motivates you to keep going to the next level and keep succeeding, and you're seeing everyone else winning, and you're like, oh man, that's cool, I want to try it too. So I had a bunch of amateur fights before, and like in taekwondo, smokers, and kickboxing and boxing. And then I did MMA, like inconsistent MMA fights from like out of college up until maybe my mid 20s. But then once I got to VFS, I really started fighting, 3 4 times a year, and I had great success. I felt well. I never took any damage, and all the time I was juggling it with my law enforcement career, and I just did really well. And then and yeah, and I just kept going with it. So now I'm here and 3-1 as a pro. Uh, I just fought LFA and knocked out some high level wrestler. So I'm happy. I'm happy with where I'm at, and I feel good. I haven't taken a lot of damage in my career, so I know I have a lot of fight in me.
That's excellent. How would you describe your fighting style? I mean, considering everything you said, you should be an all-rounder or you're more stand-up fighter.
Me, I'm personally, I think my stand up is like the most creative and loose, but if I'm on top of you, my best is probably my ground game. If I'm on top of you, it's very hard for people to get out when I'm on top. I have a high pressure style. My coach was trained by Carlson Gracie Sr. And Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is very different from like Gracie Baja and the other style. It's very fight oriented, very pressure heavy. So I'm just brutal on top, and I haven't gotten a really chance to show it in my fights. That's the funny part. Like my strongest aspect, I really haven't got to try because I'm always in there just having fun. I'm not. It kind of bit me in the ass before. I didn't think about winning or losing. I just wanted to go in there and just have fun. But for me, like I love stand up. I love going in there with creative. But if I was to say what was my strongest aspect, I would definitely say my grappling, specifically my top grappling from when the guy's on bottom.
Do you have a favorite strike and a favorite submission?
My favorite strike, I like the step behind sidekick. I saw it the first time I saw it was when Bruce Lee did it to Carl Miller, and I think it was Enter the Dragon, and he does the sidekick and he falls into the locker room. And then my favorite wrestler growing up was Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels do the step behind sidekick to the face, and so that's my favorite one on the feet. And then favorite submission is I like heel hooks. I just I love I just love heel hooks. I love the idea of heel hooks and what they represent, and I like when people get scared of them and when they tap, and it's awesome.
Considering the fact you mentioned Carson Gracie, I assume you have a few submission switches in your arsenal, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Um, just pretty much everything, man. I've been doing jujitsu for almost 15 years now. So like you go through phases. Sometimes you're like 1 year you're the triangle and the other year you're Darce and then you're guillotine and then you just go through all these phases. So right now, currently, I probably like heel hooks and guillotines. And I think for MMA, those are the best ones. Heel hooks and guillotines, for
Heel
sure.
hooks, yeah, very tricky. Heel hooks are actually very tricky to defend. Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I mean, you're in Russia. Everyone knows how to heel hook over there, right?
Actually,
All the
I'm from Bulgaria, actually, but in
uh,
Bulgaria, sambo is very popular, so we know everything about heel hooks.
actually, the first guy that taught me heel hooks was from Bulgaria.
How's his
Yeah,
name?
Sergey Justovic. Sergey Justovic.
Justovic, yeah, there is
Yeah,
that guy.
he came to train with us like 2009 or something, and I didn't know anything about leg locks. I just knew jiu-jitsu. And he came and oh man, dude, he used to like rip my legs off, knee bars, toe holds, ankle locks, heel hooks. And then he's the one that opened my eyes. And I trained with him for like a year straight. And dude, I started like heel hooking everyone in the Midwest and like when I started competing. But yeah, Sergey, they call him the leg collector. He he heel hooked and knee barred so many people. I don't he hasn't fought in a while, but when he was fighting, he was so dangerous.
Yeah, true. I mean, the school where I trained, our coach was not a fan of toe holds. Everything else was okay, but he simply didn't like toe hold. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe he didn't like people grabbing his feet, like a
Uh,
foot fetish type thing.
yeah, I don't know, but that was the only submission he didn't show. Everything else was okay, but when one of our students asked him, he said, "Okay, I'm gonna show it, but I don't recommend you doing this."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know why.
toe hold is the same thing as a heel hook. It's the same type of thing. You're moving the foot independently of the knee, so it's just like a different grip. It sucks just as bad as a heel hook.
Yeah, true, true. But heel hooks are like he knew like 10 types of heel hooks. From any position he could have go for a heel hook.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
was a good coach, pretty much. Do you remember your first amateur fight?
My first amateur fight, yeah, I was probably like 2013. I was fresh out of college, maybe, and I fought the Irish Thug. I just remember his name because he was the Irish Thug, but he was a black dude. And like when I think about Irish people, I always think about like red hair, pale skin, and then this black guy showed up, and I was like, oh, that's the Irish Thug, and he was like another college wrestler. He was like a badass, and yeah, he took me down, and then I did a butterfly sweep, and then he got back up, and then I went for a guillotine, and he defended the guillotine. I got his back, and I choked him out in like a minute and a half, and it was like a bar. It was a bar in Chicago, and there was like so many people. It was like 3,000 people. They were all packed in like a very small room, and they were like tight to the cage. Like their face. It was like something out of like a movie or a TV show. Because like everyone was like in there, and they were so tight, and it was so loud. But they ended up choking that guy in like a minute and a half. So that was a good time.
Who was your toughest amateur opponent?
My toughest amateur opponent. Oh, my second fight. This dude Joshua Bonchois. I'm actually friends with him now. He moved to Idaho, but oh man, yeah, dude, he was just a really good wrestler. And at that time, I don't know. I was already kind of. I think I was just fresh out of the police academy, and I was working midnight, so I hadn't really adjusted my schedule. Not that I'm making excuses. I don't want to take anything away from Joshua, just in case if he sees this. But my schedule was kind of messed up. I wasn't really training. I wasn't really sleeping well. And then I took that fight. I hadn't trained really in a couple months. And yeah, it was a tough fight, man. I just remember him on top of me, punching me in the face over and over again. and I didn't lose. I mean, I didn't get knocked out or nothing. I went to a decision, but that was definitely my toughest fight. He was just a good wrestler with this powerful hands.
How did your first professional fight go? Was it a big difference between pro and amateur?
Not really. It feels the same. You know, it's to me like a fight's a fight. It doesn't matter if it's like in a cage or in the street or whatever. It's still a fight. I like fighting in a cage better, right? Because there's rules and there's no weapons and you can see the guy's hands and there's a referee there. But there wasn't really a big difference. Just I knew it was going to be longer potentially, so I know my cardio had to be a little better. But first pro fight, it was for HFC, which is like a Midwest regional show. It's pretty good, and I ended up knee barring the guy. Yeah, it was a knee bar. It was like I think he took me down off a kick, and then we did some grappling. I overhooked him and elbowed him in the head like 50 times. He was crazy. He just took the elbows to the head, you know, just over and over again. I was like, this guy's nuts. And then I think I tried to go omoplata. He stood up, and then I got under his leg, and then I knee barred him. And yeah, it was a couple minutes in. A good time. My mom, that was the first fight. My mom and dad came to see me, so I was so happy because they never want to come see me because they're always afraid I'm gonna get hurt. But it was my first pro fight. I was like, Mom, come on, you got to come. Like, you have to. You know, what happens if I die? You never see me again. So she's like, oh, okay. So she was sitting in the front row. And then I remember when I won, I jumped over the cage and I looked at her and I was like yelling and screaming. And she was like so scared. And she's like, I've never seen that side of you before. And I was like, yeah, Mom, it's been there a long time. You know, it's about time you saw it. But yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's always hard for parents to watch, so I get it how it is. I mean, my
Yeah.
parents actually, dad has never watched. My mom watched twice when I was in kickboxing competitions. My mom watched, my dad never. No way. He hates fighting, and that's it. He's
Really,
he's
your dad?
no, he
Wow.
hates fighting. He is like, no, I'm not gonna watch fighting. He is a huge fan of boxing, for example, but fan of boxing to watch on TV, and that's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He never did a martial art, your father?
No, he doesn't like it. I think he played
Okay.
soccer as a kid, but he likes to watch boxing. But back at his age, boxing was the only sport. He's older, you know. MMA didn't exist back then. He grew up in 70s, 80s. They only knew for boxing and maybe a bit of karate, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. For example, when there is a boxing event on, he knows every single boxer. I know boxers, but not that well. But he is like Wikipedia of boxing.
Oh, nice. Nice.
About your second fight, you outthrew Christian Jones. Was it a close split decision, right?
Christian Jones. Oh yeah, that kid was tough. Yeah, he was from Indiana, I think. I think he was a wrestler too, but he had good striking. You know, I didn't feel like it was that close, honestly. I thought for sure I took the first 2 rounds. Maybe the third round was kind of close. Or maybe no, I think it was the second round that was a little close. And I won the first and the third for sure. But I don't think they like me a lot in Indiana, honestly. I don't think the judges like me over there and the people out that way because I feel like every time I fight out there, it's my decisions are always like split decisions or like in my third fight, I got a point deduction and in the first round because the guy said I hit him in the back of the head, the referee. But I remember just hitting the guy's ear. Like I think he was in on a double and I was trying to elbow. And I remember like always aiming for the ear. So I don't know. The guy took a point away from me because he was hurt. And that was my third fight in Indiana. But with Christian, yeah, I don't remember it being close, honestly. I thought I won that fight decisively. But the guy was tough. He was like just very strong, muscular wrestler that, you know, hit very hard. Like when I would block it, I felt it like, oh shit. But he was strong as fuck for sure.
About fight with McCarthy right now at LFA. LFA is a good springboard for UFC, so it's a big step up, right? So how did you feel heading into LFA? I mean, everybody consider LFA one of the greatest ways to reach UFC.
Yeah. No, I was super excited when my coach told me. So it was funny. My coach, he was gone helping Bilal Muhammad prepare for Leon Edwards in Vegas. He was gone for almost, I want to say 3 weeks, and they gave me 3 weeks to prepare for the fight. So I kind of almost like ran my own training camp, but not that it was like difficult or anything to do that because I already knew what I had to do. You know, my coach is, he's giving me so many drills and so many concepts that I understand his system so well that it kind of works. I know how to use it, you know, and then we have great guys at the gym. We have Carlos Hernandez, you know, he's an LFA guy. Uh, and he probably has big news soon. Ignacio Bahamondes is there. Lots of good fighters, but I actually got hurt like a week before. I hurt my tailbone, and I actually have like a hairline fracture. So I was debating on like pulling out of the fight, but it was hard, right? Because I was like, man, this is LFA. I don't know if I'm ever getting another opportunity. If I pull out of this fight, um, I have to take it. So mentally, I was just so prepared, you know, because with my coach not being there for such a significant time, the injury, I just knew I was like, I have to beat this guy. Like, that was my only option. Of course, that's like your only option always going into a fight. But I was just so mentally prepared to do what I did, like just knock this guy out because I couldn't grapple. If he had taken me down, I don't know. I think I would have tapped because my tailbone hurt that bad. Like if I just sit down on the ground, now it's better. But if I had to sit on the ground and grapple, like I couldn't do it. My movement was so restricted, and it was so painful. So I gave myself that option. I was like, okay, and normally I don't mind when a fight goes to the ground because I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I've been training forever, grappling. So it's like if it hits the ground, I have no issue with it. But for this fight, I couldn't let it hit the ground. So that's why I lowered my base a little bit. I threw a lot more hands than I normally do because usually I kick more and I don't mind the takedowns. But with this fight, I just had to lower my level, box more, and I knew I was just gonna hit this guy as hard as I could, and I know I have knockout power. I've had so many coaches tell me, hey, dude, you hit so hard. I knocked out this one guy in my amateur career at 155. He was like 6'4". So I knew I had power in my hands. I just had to, you know, just throw, and I threw when I saw my opportunity, and I knocked the dude out. So I was happy.
Yeah, really much excellent. So right now you have nothing slated right now, no options right now slated, or
Right now, no, I don't really have anything planned. I'm gonna go. So I'm a grappling coach at VFS. So I'm just gonna help Nacho Bahamondes. He's fighting April 10th, John McDessie, on the UFC card. So right now I'm just kind of helping him out, and then Carlos Hernandez. He has big news on the horizon. So I'm just helping him out too. I'd like to get in there. I'm probably just gonna take another week off of training and then start back up again, and I'd like to get in there maybe end of April. I know LFA seemed like they wanted me back, but this time at 135, because 45 is, well, I woke up on weight at 145. Like 145 is very easy for me to make. I walk around like 152, maybe 151. So I pretty much woke up on weight. So I know I can make 35, and that's probably where I'm going to fight next.
and about Vahamondes, I think he is a heavy underdog in this fight, which is to me like insane. I watched Vahamondes like 2-3 times. He's not a bad fighter at all. People favor McDessie too much. I don't know why.
Is that true? Because I think I was on FanDuel Sports, and they had Bahamondes as the favorite. He's like he's a favorite there. I don't know. If he's the underdog, like let me know, man. I'll bet my house. I bet my house that Bahamondes is gonna win this fight. Yeah, he's phenomenal, man. His
Here at
striking
my
is.
bookie, Vahamondes, but we have different odds. For example, here you put $10 on Vahamondes, you get like 20, 21, something like that. He's a slight underdog, but he is underdog. I don't know why.
Yeah, I gotta check that out, man. Yeah, if he's an underdog, that's a beautiful thing. That's a blessing. That's a blessing in disguise. Like I said, Bahamondes has the the craziest striking I've ever seen. He's like can punch you from halfway across the room. He's so long. He's so deceptive, dude, and it just lands. And I'm really excited to see him fight. Like, super excited.
Yeah, for example, my basic martial art is Taekwondo. So with Taekwondo, you can attack from every single angle if you're fighting long range. I mean, it's not good for close range, of course, you have other martial arts, but from long range, you can do literally everything. So when I seen Bahamondes here, I was like, wait, at least to give 50-50 fight. I mean, why is he an underdog? I watched the guy so many times. It was so odd to me. But that's like first thoughts. Maybe they're going to change it as the matches closes by. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much people bet or how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not a financial advisor, Vlad, but if I was you and you have some savings to throw, dude, bet the house on my boy Bahamondes. Bet the house, man. Throw all the money on him, dude. There's no way that kid's gonna lose. There's no way. I don't see it. I don't see it.
How does one day in your life look like?
Average day in my life, I wake up kind of like late afternoon, or not late morning, early afternoon, and lately my life has changed a lot since COVID. Pre-COVID, I would only sleep like 2-3 hours a day, and I would train twice a day. I train once in the morning, once at night, and then go to work. I work overnight. And that was pretty much everything I did. But post-COVID, I sleep a lot more. So I get probably like 6 hours of sleep now. I have like an online eBay store that I've been doing since I was in college. So I take care of my online eBay orders, and then I hang out, man. I just hang out till I have to go train, and then I train at night, and then I go to work, and I help the city of Chicago be safe.
That would be great. That would really be great. Would you like to add something to the interview, to give a shout out to someone? Would you like to mention somebody we didn't mention?
Valley Flow Striking, like I said, it's the best place to train in the Midwest. If you're there in the Midwest and you need somewhere to train, come there. My meal prep service, Healthy Bites, by Valerie Sanchez, so delicious, dude. Like, it made my weight cut so easy. I felt like I wasn't eating like on a diet, I just felt like I was eating regularly. So that was a big help. And I want to thank the Chicago Police Department for keeping me employed and supporting me. And that's pretty much. And Vlad, of course, thank you for having me on here, and giving me an outlet to speak and talk. So I appreciate you, of course. And that's pretty much it, man. We're just going to keep on rolling 2021.
That's outstanding. I'm gonna create a video in like 2-3 hours. Gonna send you video, okay?
Okay, awesome, Vlad. Nice meeting you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Alberto. Have a great day, man.
Okay, and maybe next time I'll send you some toe hold techniques. That way you have some toe holds.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure, brother. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You take care. For
Goodbye.
sure. God bless.
All right. Goodbye.